Big news, fellas. Actually big news. Kind of something that we always suspected, but it's nice to see it so out in the open.
I would be remiss if I did not directly address some of the news that we saw come out just a few hours ago, which is that the president of this country, Donald Trump, has been coordinating with Andrew Cuomo in direct conversation with the former governor. It is Trump billionaires who have been opposing our campaign's vision for a city that New Yorkers can afford. It is Donald Trump himself who has been directly conspiring with candidates who have decided to give up the people that they are supposed to protect in lieu of securing power through the assistance of that same administration in Washington, D.C.
We're familiar with the talking points. Basically, the gist of it is that there is very strong evidence claiming that Trump spoke with Cuomo. It was a conversation initiated by Trump in a kind of quid pro quo, maybe we could work together on this business. For Cuomo, he ran as a Democrat in the primary to literally openly, well, maybe openly is not the right word because he is denying that it happened, but I don't believe him, collaborate with Trump. It shows to me they don't really care. Okay, first of all, 2 pointers. For one, congratulations to Mandani for understanding how, Oppo coverage works, make everything into an issue. Never shut the up. Democrats need to shut the up far less than they do. Democrats let everything sit. They're always like, oh, the voters will decide. Now that the information's out there, Mandani talks about everything. He immediately went and held a press conference, and we'll go through all of it, okay? But yeah, Trump has multiple times said that he wants to intervene in the race because, it's New York City, it's Trump's home turf. He doesn't want a dirty socialist running the place. Though, to my knowledge, this is the first time that there's been, direct contact between Trump and Cuomo. Trump may have moved out of New York City, but he has privately discussed whether to intercede in its fractious race for mayor. I don't think it's that fractious, personally. To try to stop Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee, according to 8 people briefed on the discussions. In recent weeks, Trump has quizzed a Republican congressman and New York businessman about who's in the crowded field of candidates, including Adams and Cuomo. Who of them has the best chance of beating Mamdani? The president has been briefed by Mark Penn, a pollster who's worked for Bill and Hillary Clinton, and Andrew Stein, a former New York City Council president and decades-long friend of Mr. Trump, on a range of polling that showed Mr. Cuomo could still be competitive as an independent candidate. Competitive is being generous. All of the polling data that we have out in the open makes it pretty clear that Mamdani's going to win the general. Are they just scamming him? I think that some of these people are telling Trump what he wants to hear. For me, what's more important is the fact that the president is this desperate to directly intervene. This is unique. Trump hasn't done this before. Trump loves to talk about the races going on in the country, how this city has fallen and that city has fallen, etc., etc. But to directly reach out and collude with the previous Democratic primary candidate, honestly, it's too little too late. If Trump had thrown his full weight behind Cuomo from the get-go, it's possible Cuomo might have beaten Mamdani. Not likely, but possible. Here's the latest Zenith polling showing Mamdani gets more than all the other candidates combined. Sorry, I'm illiterate. I believe you. I'm happy that happened or something. Scroll a little, no? Sorry, but really this is your fault. Reading is for nerds. I do believe that. I agree. Anyway, Cuomo denies the phone call happened. How does Fox News back him up? David Marcus, how a Trump-Cuomo alliance can save New York City. So that's how believable Cuomo's denial is. Fox is like, okay, but
Cuomo announced yesterday, because many people here in New York are talking about there's so many Democrats in this race or independents. Someone needs to drop out. And people are pointing the fingers at Andrew Cuomo, some at Eric Adams. They want not the progressives, but the other side of New York wants someone to beat Mamdani. And they're worried with Cuomo in the race, Eric Adams in the race, and Curtis Sewell in the race. That's not going to be it's not going to happen. So
all three have said they're not dropping out. Sliwa is a crank with a he's an autist with a hyperfixation of being New York City's Republican mayor, okay? Adams doesn't seem to give a shit and is an egomaniac, and Cuomo is in here as a contractual obligation. You know, I don't think anyone's dropping out.
The reporters were asking if Cuomo was going to stay in the race or get out. This is what he said.
The fight to save our city isn't over. Only 13% of New Yorkers voted in the June primary. The general election is in November, and I am in it to win it. My opponent, Mr. Mandani, offers slick slogans, but no real solutions.
So Fox News says at this time Cuomo has not committed to running an active general election campaign through the summer and into the autumn.
Okay.
Word is, he says if the polls show he's not the highest ranking challenger to Mamdani by mid-September, he will drop out of the race. But let me ask you something. They were asked, he was told to leave because of myriad of charges as governor. He left disgraced. Then he runs the worst campaign possible with millions of dollars in the bank, loses to a nobody with no accomplishments, a radical communist, and now he says, okay, I have a great idea. Let me run as an independent and screw up the entire thing.
Well, he doesn't deserve to run again after, I mean, let's just go through this guy's background, Mandani, and this really shows.
We're looking at this video embedded in a web page entitled How a Trump-Cuomo Alliance Can Save New York City. Dude, there's no way. There's no fucking way. Even if every one of them was like a perfectly rational actor and they worked together in a way that optimized the chance of one candidate, it still wouldn't be enough. Unbelievable, truly. Anyway, I want to see a little bit about the press conference, but first, this is the report talking about the call between Cuomo and Trump.
And now to the race for New York City mayor. Tonight, the candidates are reacting to a report that President Trump may get involved. Dick Brennan is here in studio with me to tell us the details.
Fucking
Dick?
loud, lady.
Well, Christine, the president is said to want to know how to stop Zoran Mandani and who would be the best candidate to do it. Tonight, word that Trump might get in the middle of things has the candidates, including Mandani, firing back.
Whatever Donald Trump seeks to do to influence the outcome of this election, I have more faith in New Yorkers themselves, who have shown, whether it be in the previous presidential election or whether it be through this primary race, that they do not want to support our current president's vision.
Tonight, some of the mayoral candidates were reacting to the idea that Donald Trump wants to get involved in the race in New York City.
There's no doubt he talks often with Eric Adams. He talks often with Cuomo, who he's known. Their families have known one another. He doesn't talk to me. So I've advised the president publicly, be like Switzerland. Stay out of this race.
The New York Times reports Trump is...
Jesus. Well, I guess Sliwa's probably pissed off that Trump would be intervening to favor Cuomo over him, the Republican candidate. It's such a fucking mess, dude. It's such a fucking mess.
mulling whether to get behind a candidate to stop self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani and wants to figure out who has the best chance to beat him, be it Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo. It also says Trump has had a phone conversation with Cuomo, something the Cuomo camp denies. In a statement, spokesman Rich Azzopardi saying the governor and the president have not spoken in some time. As far as I know, they have not discussed the race. Tonight in the Oval Office, President Trump was asked about it.
Did you have a phone call with Andrew Cuomo? Did you speak to Andrew Cuomo?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Regardless, Mamdani was making political hay, accusing Cuomo of a shady backroom deal.
This is a great opportunity for Mandani to use the president as a boogeyman or an albatross to put around the neck of former Governor Cuomo.
Political analyst
I like your energy, funny circle glasses, man.
J.C. Polanco says,
whenever I see glasses like this, I just think Sam Hyde. Are there any other people that I could, like, attach that to? You know?
It might be best if Trump stays in the background and tries to be
Harry Potter? No. John Lennon? No. John Lennon's frames were thin. No. They don't look like that. Waldo? Maybe.
Rainmaker.
There are many ways that President Trump could be helpful. The worst way would be an endorsement. It's the kiss of death of New York City.
In Harlem, Mayor Adams did not take questions on the race, and his office did not respond to a request for comment. Now, Polanco says if Trump chooses to stay on the sidelines, he could encourage others to donate or provide support to any opponent of Mamdani, or the president may choose to...
I have a feeling that in the long run, this call towards Cuomo is actually going to decrease Cuomo's voter share, because the majority of people who voted for Cuomo did not vote for him because they like Trump, you know? Such a such a misfire. Mandani has a majority in every single education level and income bracket. So more and more people are consolidating behind Mandani, is what you're saying. Like, Mandani now truly does have the mandate.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I can count.
BJ. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you to Nadine from 1199. Thank you to Candace from 32BJ. Thank you to the rank and file union members who have joined us this morning.
Yeah.
We are standing in front of Federal
Any
Plaza,
audio tech union
the very
workers?
site where New Yorkers are being stolen, whether from their families, their friends, or from the city that they call home.
It's worse for me because I have stereo
It is
audio,
at this
you have
very
mono.
site that we understand the cost of this news, that former Governor Cuomo has been conspiring with President Trump about the fate of this city, about the future of this city, about the facts of this race. It is knowledge that is a betrayal of everything that we stand for as New Yorkers. It is knowledge that disappoints us, and yet it does not surprise us.
God, I just, so many people need to learn this lesson, man. The way he handles these situations. Immediate press conference. Just, oh, you hear something politically damaging about my opponent? Right away. Video edited for the socials. Press conference for the general audience, you know, just like that.
Because it builds on a history that we have seen with this former governor. A history of trying to hide that which he knows is offensive to the values of this city from the people of this city. We see that with this call itself. Something that took place many weeks ago, and yet it took the New York Times to share this with New Yorkers. We know that this former governor has very little regard, whether it be for the Democratic Party, the democratic process, or for Democrats themselves, because he would rather look past having been beaten by close to 13 points by a campaign that amassed more votes than any Democratic primary winner.
I've heard. Let me get to the questions. Hold on.
Janitors. We live in the richest city, in the richest country.
Union lead?
And our commitment.
Questions?
What's your response?
A population of whom 1 in 4 are in poverty.
What do you say to people who maybe don't have a candidate in the race yet, who are nevertheless worried about the fact that you uniquely might make New York City more of a target for the Trump administration than it already is? And
I think that's actually a really fair question. Like, my answer to that is solidarity, you know, like grit the down basically, because there's no way out but through. But like, that is a fair question. I'm kind of curious what his answer will be. I think no way out but through is like the short version of the answer that he has to give, right? It's like, listen, we live in a dystopic fascist regime where the president wipes his dick and balls on the Constitution every single day. We need to stand strong. We cannot comply in advance.
sort of inadvertently draw more attention and more attacks, more harassment, more defunding threats, etc. What's your response to that, and how could you combat that?
We have seen over the course of this current mayoral administration an example of what New Yorkers can win through a policy of collaboration and cowardice. And the examples we've seen are the stealing of more than $80 million from the city's bank account, are threats and realities of lawsuits against this city, and the passage of legislation that will throw more than 1 million New Yorkers, by last estimate, off of their health care, that will steal food from hungry New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, that will seek to make an example of that which makes so many of us proud to be New Yorkers. And we know that the most effective way to take on Donald Trump is not through that cowardice, is not through that collaboration, it is through courage and conviction.
Okay, yeah, no way out but through, basically.
You can see that in examples across the country and across the world. We need only follow that.
Why is he looking down at the person he's talking to? Because he's on a platform. He's elevated slightly. I saw this clip while scrolling, by the way. Apparently, a videographer passed out right after this press conference.
We got a call.
Dwayne.
Watch out. Mandani heroically descending to assist. It's hot out? Yeah. Well, not over here. It's pretty cold today in Seattle, considering the time of year.
Hi, we have a medical situation.
Got water?
Yeah. Is the patient breathing? I'm on 911. Zoran, is the patient breathing? Yeah. Yes, so breathing.
Well, good luck. Good luck, my friend.
And showcase the ability for us to stand up for the very things that we say that we believe in. And that's what our campaign will show.
Josie?
Hey, how are you? I'm wondering if you think, we saw Mayor Adams is seemingly, his approval ratings mean that he's moving up to Trump.
Ooh.
I'm wondering if you think this is good
Hello,
news for your campaign.
sir.
There's potential for collaboration with Cuomo as well.
I have thought of this much more through the context of what this means for our city, frankly, and what this means for our chances. We have been confident ever since we won a Democratic primary by close to 13 points, after having been outspent by so many of the very billionaires that supported Donald Trump's return to the White House, all to advance Andrew Cuomo's mayoral campaign. Campaign for each and every New Yorker. Seen as of this morning that they stand by their reporting. Routine check-ins. Thinking it just another that they have to go through, not knowing that they will not see their family again. New Yorkers who have been dragged, disappeared, and detained hundreds of miles away from the city that they call home. And there is a responsibility that we hold as leaders to make it clear that this is an attack on the entire fabric of this city, and also a political and technical responsibility to do all that which is in our power to stand up for those same values. I have spoken about my commitment to hire 200 additional lawyers to ensure that the law department is at the same staffing levels it was at pre-pandemic, to create pay parity for those lawyers across city agencies so that no...
I don't know, man. He's so fucking good. There are going to be so many books written about him. Assuming he does well when he's in office. And that's going to be the difficult part, right? Like right now, time and time again, he's being tested on things like charisma, you know, on charisma, on his ability to handle crises, to communicate. We need to see how that squares up once he's actually in office. Lander will help him in office. He's going to need so much more help than just Lander. He's going to need to be able to cooperate with so many people in so many departments. It's going to be rough. But, you know, at least he's got a dedicated fan base. I do increasingly worry about his safety, though. Me too, a little bit. But I think he'll pull through. We got to fight for him. Hey, we are that fan base. Goddamn right. If you're watching my content and you're not a fan of Mamdani, I genuinely don't know what you're doing, and I don't trust you, and I don't count you among the members of this prestigious community, okay? That's crazy to me. I'm shadowboxing right now with people who probably don't exist, but if you're a fan of mine and not of Mamdani, I have no idea what you are doing. Oh, I thought he was hating on white names again. Don't you worry, white boy. Your time will come. Your time will come.